I want you to go ahead and quietly close your tops and put them in your backpack. Or actually just put them to the side for right now. You don't have to put them in your backpack. We're going to talk for just a second before I want you to open your back up. Just close it. Zach, your phone's out. Hey. Alright, your phone's out. Okay, we're going to talk for just a second. Alright, somebody tell me what we've been talking about when we've been talking about text structures and we've been talking about word meanings. Somebody tell me what connotative word meaning is. What are those words that we talked about? What was the connotative ones?
The cultural definition.
Okay, those were the words that had the cultural meanings to them. Okay, it has the feelings with them. Okay, what about the denotation words? Have two hands. The denotation. Remember, we said it start with a D. That was supposed to help you remember what that meaning was. Elizabeth?
Is it description?
Not the description. We did talk about description text structure, but this is just word meanings. Go ahead, Maddie.
The dictionary definition.
Okay, very good. The dictionary definition. Okay, as we are going to be reading this Voices in the Park this children's book, I want you to be thinking about how are these, there's going to be 4 different voices, so 4 different people in this story. And I want you to think about how are they alike and how are they different. Okay? I gave you a note-taking guide. I want you just to write down just details about it. Okay? So the first voice. What are some details that the first voice tells about them or what's going on in their situation? Then the second. Okay? You can open up your tops and go to my Moodle page. I'm going to actually play it on YouTube instead of reading it, but it's hard to follow along, so I put it on my Moodle. If you go down, and it'll say author's purpose / point of view. It gets down pretty far after text structures. Not the first point of view, right after text structures. If you keep going,
I see it.
you see it?
I got it.
And you'll click Voices in the Park. So then you can just follow on the video. Okay? So you're going to author's purpose, point of view, Voices in the Park. Okay.
She can use the book.
I'll give you the book to follow on. So what you're going to do, remember, you're looking for similarities and differences and just different characteristics about the characters that you notice.
Voices in the Park by Anthony Brown. First voice. It was time to take Victoria, our pedigree Labrador, and Charles, our son, for a walk. When we arrived at the park, I let Victoria off her lead. Immediately, some scruffy mongrel appeared and started bothering her. I shooed it off, but the horrible thing chased her all over the park. I ordered it to go away, but it took no notice of me whatsoever. Sit, I said to Charles. Here. I was just planning what we should have to eat that evening when I saw Charles had disappeared. Oh dear, where had he gone? You get some frightful types in a park these days. I called his name for what seemed like an age. Then I saw him talking to a very rough-looking child. Charles, come here at once, I said. And come here, please, Victoria. We walked home in silence.
Second voice. I needed to get out of the house, so me and Smudge took the dog to the park. He loves it there. I wish I had half the energy he's got.
So this is our second character. Yep, this is another person. Very good, Lauren. Okay.
I settled on a bench and looked through the paper for a job. I know it's a waste of time, really, but you've got to have a bit of hope, haven't you? Then it was time to go. Smudge cheered me up. She chatted happily to me all the way home.
Third voice. I was at home on my own again. It's so boring. Then Mommy said that it was time for our walk. There was a very friendly dog in the park, and Victoria
Yes, this is the third
was
one.
having a great time. I wish I was. Do you want to come on the slide? A voice asked. It was a girl, unfortunately, but I went anyway. She was brilliant on the slide. She went really fast. I was amazed. The two dogs raced around like old friends. The girl took off her coat and swung on the climbing frame, so I did the same. I'm good at climbing trees, so I showed her how to do it. She told me her name was Smudge. A funny name, I know, but she's quite nice. Then Mummy caught us talking together, and I had to go home. Maybe Smudge will be there next time?
Fourth voice.
So the fourth one.
Dad had been really fed up, so I was pleased when he said we could take Albert to the park.
This little girl's
Albert's always in such a hurry to be let off his lead. He went straight up to this lovely dog and sniffed its bum. He always does that. Of course, the other dog didn't mind, but its owner was really angry. The silly twit. I got talking to this boy. I thought he was a bit of a wimp at first, but he's okay. We played on the seesaw, and he didn't say much, but later on, he was a bit more friendly. We both burst out laughing when we saw Albert having a swim. Then, we all played on the bandstand, and I felt really, really happy. Charlie picked a flower and gave it to me. Then his mom called, and he had to go. He looked sad. When I got home, I put the flower in some water and made Dad a nice cup of tea.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll give you a few minutes. You can scroll back through the slides if you would like. If you missed some details on some characters, I'll give you just about 2 minutes to do that. To go back through and just try to figure out some details and look at some of the similarities and differences between them. What connections might you see? Yes. It's really neat picture too.
If relationships are always going to be a step.
Okay, yes, but I don't want just like their who they are. Tell me like maybe about their feelings, maybe their wealth, those type of things. What kind of day were they having? What did they think? What were they feeling? This
I don't know.
I do not, but we'll have to. Elijah, can you get off that though, actually, please? Okay, so our purpose for our lesson today is to be able to determine an author's point of view in the story and how did they convey or show that point of view in their story to the readers that are reading it. So how did the reader know that was that author's viewpoint? Point of view is the perspective from which a story is told. Okay? Now perspective means what I think of something. For example, if me and Elijah went to see the Hunger Games together. I always use Hunger Games as an example. So if we both went and saw Hunger Games the movie together, okay? I may think the movie is absolutely amazing. She may think the movie was the worst thing she's ever seen. Okay, those are two different perspectives. Those are two different ways that a person sees something. Okay? Or how they feel about something. Yes, Javante? Go ahead. Or wait till we're done with notes. Sorry. Okay, so let's look up here and read, or let's go through our notes first. Tell me what are some things you noticed about our characters. Let's do voice number 1. What did you notice, Elizabeth?
In the first one, she went to the park and the dog got loose, and they talked to a girl and he had to go home.
Okay, because he had to go home and he got in trouble. Okay, so it was about the little girl. She went to the park and her dog got loose. Okay, very good. Anybody else? Anything else?
They were all girls.
Okay, he noticed that they were all gorillas. What about, did you guys notice anything specific between character number 2? What's some things about character number 2? How did character number 2 start out at the very beginning? When we were first introduced to him, he was boring, okay? What was he doing at home? Sitting around, and he decided to do what? When he picked up he picked up something and he said, I might as well look through it. Okay, he picked up a newspaper, so we know that he's jobless, because he said he was looking for a job. Okay, so those are some details we know about him. What about voice number 3? Who is voice number 3? Who is our voice number 3? I know there's a lot of different voices. Zara?
It was the son of the person in the first.
Okay, very good. At the very beginning, look at this picture up here. What do you think that he's feeling right here? Okay, bored, maybe. What's some other things that happen with him? Okay. He meets the girl, he gets on the side with the girl. What about voice number 4? Michaela? He was what? Okay, he's playing with the boy. What similarities did you guys see between them? What are some of the similarities? I'm going to turn the lights because we're all a little tired. Make sure that we're sitting up. I know that 2 days before spring break, we're wore out. We got to, come on, power through. Let's go. Heads up. Heads up. Okay. Go ahead, Elijah. What's some similarities?
They all went to the park with their dog.
Okay, so they all went to we know that the setting was at the park, mostly, throughout the whole story. So each different boys were all at the parks with their dogs. What's something, maybe a difference that you noticed? Or another similarity? Okay, he said they were all gorillas, like Justin said.
Different clothes.
Okay, they had different clothes, but Zara, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say they all went on the park and one of them was sad and everything was happy, one of them was
Very good. Okay, Zara, you just hit the jackpot. She said they all went to the park, but one of them was sad, one of them was mad, one of them was happy. So they may have all went somewhere, but they all had different perspectives, okay? They all had different views of the park. The first lady, she wouldn't let her son play with, she said that raggedy girl that he was playing with, okay? So her viewpoint of that little girl was that she was a poor little girl. Okay? So they all had different viewpoints, so that's a perspective. I want us to look at our paper that I gave you. It says, did you ever read an article that tried to convince you to agree with the writer's ideas? If so, you may have noted that certain words were chosen to appeal to your emotions. The writer may have made different choices if the text were meant to inform or entertain. For example, after all, content is shaped by the author's purpose or main reason for writing. What's author's purpose? It's that pi word. Persuade?
Entertain and inform.
Very good. Persuade, entertain, or inform. Content is also shaped by the author's point of view or feelings about a topic. The words and ideas used in a text provide important clues about an author's perspective. So let's look at this picture below. Kevin, Tyler, I want you to tell me, how do you think judge number 1 feels?
He thinks it's great.
Okay, he thinks it's great. How do we know that he thinks it's great?
It's a perfect novel.
Okay, because of the words he used. Very good. So we know that number 10, he not only gave it a number 10, but he said perfect and bravo. Okay? So the topic, it says the evidence, he gives a score 10, smiles, and uses the word perfect. That's how we know. So we know his point of view is that he thought it was wonderful. Judge number 2, it says simply awful. That performance was flawed by sloppy techniques. So you can assume from those words that she doesn't like the performance at all. Okay? That she thought the performance was terrible. Now, Leisha, will you read the bottom part for me?
Recognizing an author's reason for writing and feeling about the topic help you decide what to do with the information. Should you treat it as a simple set of facts? Will you agree with the author, or will you develop your own opinion? To determine an author's point of view, look at the words chosen and the opinions expressed, and the details that are given or left out. All are valuable clues to an author's purpose and belief.
Very good. Okay, let's flip our page. Alright, so it says read the article about extreme sport of ice climbing. Then answer the question, then read and answer the questions that follow. So it's Climbing Ice by Melissa Thompson. Who would like to read? Elizabeth?
Imagine facing an enormous frozen waterfall. You are at the bottom of this huge ice formation, staring up and thinking through the steps you'll take to climb it. Yes, it's dangerous, and that's part of the fun. For adventure seekers, ice climbing offers a physical challenge and a unique thrill. The surface of ice varies greatly from one location to another, so an ice climber must be ready for any situation that could arise during a climb. One wrong step can lead to a deadly fall, yet the risk seems small when compared to the reward of finally reaching the top. Ms. Sister Curry?
Speed competitions are for ice climbers who need more adventure than simply scaling a steep ice wall. These events offer the rush of danger coupled with the excitement of speed and competition. All right, it says, what's the author's point of view about ice climbing? What evidence reveals this viewpoint? This author does not directly state his or her opinion or attitude about ice climbing. Complete the chart below to determine her point of view based on details and word choice. Okay? So not always is it going to say, I hate ice climbing. They may use certain words with that connotation, those positive and negative feelings that you'll have to be able to infer to determine if you think the author likes it or dislikes it. Okay, or how they view it. So what it's going to ask you to do is I want you to do this for just a second, then we're going to check. This is ice climbing is the topic. It gives you the evidence. The first evidence is dangerous, unique, thrill, deadly fall, and positive and negative. Then the second topic is ice climbing speed competitions. Ice climbing speed competitions. The evidence is rush of danger coupled with the excitement of speed and competition. Do you think that's a positive or negative? Okay, put a plus right here. Okay. I want you to write what you think the overall narrator's point of view, or how the author is feeling. What do you think that they view, how they view ice climbing, based on what we just read? And I want you to underline these words down here that help you determine what you think the point of view is of this article. Okay, what do you think? What do you think how they view it, Zara?
Fun because it's dangerous.
Okay, fun but dangerous. Very good. Okay. Anybody else have a different way of you think that the author thought about ice climbing? All right, flip the page. What I want you to do is I want you to read this story independently, and I want you to answer the multiple choice question down here about what is the point of view, what is Chris's point of view about ice climbing. Then I want you to answer the question at the bottom and turn it into the tray. Okay?
Do we answer the show your turkey?
Yes. You're gonna answer the one, just that. Which one are you asking?
Or do we just do this?
You just do the show your thinking. You do the multiple choice and show your thinking. Okay, and I want you to underline, as you're reading, what is the risk? Underline words that help you determine the point of view. Yes. Okay. I'm going to tell you in a second. Yes, I want both papers. Guys, whenever you do turn these in, I want both papers. And when you are finished, we'll only have about 5 more minutes, so you can go ahead and just get on your laptops and get on Reading Plus for the rest of the time. But make sure your name's at the top of both. Tomorrow we will continue with the author's point of view and do some more practice with it. Since we have run out of time.
You do this.
Yes, you do the show your thinking at the bottom.